What's up? Hey everybody, welcome. What should I drink tonight? That's the key question. It's all about me. I'm incredibly selfish. I admit it. Ariane Asuk. Working man. The working man's beer. The Ariane Asuk, it's not bad. You know, it's not bad. I think the Dreyer is like Dreyer is just a tiny step above the Ariane Asuk. Alright. Alright. What's up, everybody? We don't really have a snob beer in Hungary. Everything is working man's beer. Okay. But Blobby knows his Hungarian beers. Ariane Asuk is up there, probably number 2 or number 3. Borsodi's kind of got a bigger marketing. So I think it's Dreyer first, Borsodi, and then Ariane Asuk. It's probably like the 3rd most popular Hungarian beer. Alright, the question is, yeah, we've got analysis stream. Should we have beer? Should I have beer or wine tonight? You like the stream title? Inspired by Mr. Coffee. I have to give him credit. He inspired me. Special Master conducts review of nuclear chess secrets. Have a flight of both. That's tempting. WJ Loof just pushing the envelope. No limits. For unusual analysis, let's go with wine. I agree. I think the wine is more. I think wine is more appealing to the creative juices. Brings out the creative juices a little bit more. I'm still undecided though. Wait and see what the recommended the pollsters say. The polling places are open. Should we have beer or wine? I should vote. It's a little early though. Maybe we should have waited a little bit to spring the poll. How long does the poll have? 10 minutes? I like how I ask Mr. Coffee this every time. Same question like I have Alzheimer's. Alright, let's see. Here's our list for games for tonight. 904 studies. Nice, huh? There isn't a both option. Just log in on 2 accounts, WJ Loof. And like click one of each. We've got Shocky, Uber Driver, Asterbate, Ubadis, Big Dummy, WJ Loof. Mr. Coffee is in the list. Excel Poker, I couldn't get it in the list because of certain formatting issues. Yeah, you can abstain from voting, WJ Leaf. Be like the United Nations. Mr. Coffee, Sumahair. Oh, there is a 3rd choice. Wait a second here. Oh man, something just happened. Mr. Mom on alert. Little Johnny, are you okay? Alright. We've got... Did I tell you that I'm babysitting? Alright. Should we have beer or wine? Amaranth's still average. I don't remember, what is that? What is it? Sounds like amaranth. What is that drink that sounds like amaranth? You see, I swear I have dementia. My dementia always gets worse when I'm... It's been a hard day. That's why I'm asking if I should have beer or wine. Thursdays are tough days. Absinthe. That's it. Absinthe. Yeah, thank you. Mr. Coffee, correct. Beer, wine, or absinthe? When Amaranth is absent, she's absinthe. Rook Warrior... Poor Rook Warrior always, like, coming in the wrong stream with the challenges. I'm sorry, dude. We're just doing game analysis today. It's Thursday. Alright. Should we have beer or wine tonight? Votes are being tallied. I'll be like Bolsonaro, you know. The election's rigged before it even starts. I won't accept any result but what I want. Yeah, I was thinking, why isn't the Brazilian election, like, there's no betting lines on the Brazilian election? I guess it's just not reliable enough, you know? Alright, we've got to get this thing started. We'll start with game one. How about that? I thought you were talking about Armagnac. Oh, I didn't know that even exists. Yeah, where is absinthe famous from? Did it feature in like Sherlock Holmes stories or something? I don't know. Alright, Shaki first game. I don't know if Shaki's here, but I'm waiting for the poll to finish so I can get a beverage of my viewer's choice. Alright, Shaki's playing white. We'll start with this one. He's not here, who cares? He'll watch the video later. Knight f3, knight c6, knight c3, knight f6, and now bishop e2. So he played this against me too, right? We were talking about this with somebody. So I'm trying to understand, like, what's the deal with bishop e2? What does it do? You know, what's the point, really? The point is something after d5? Mixology. Why does black have such a good score after yeah, I mean, bishop c5 is one of the points, right? That's got to be kind of the main point, the old, like, fork trick. It reminds me of the English four knights variation, like c4 here, knight c3, knight c6, knight f3, knight f6, and e4. It's, like, well documented that bishop c5 is considered, like, I don't know, maybe, like, slightly dangerous because of knight takes. Knight takes, d4. Although this variation might be okay for black, and historically it was considered like white gains like a slight initiative. So I guess that's one of the purposes of bishop e2, right? It basically takes some of the strength out of bishop c5. I mean, obviously, like, bishop e4 is a move. It's notable that bishop e4 has a very good score. Bishop e4, knight d5 is critical. I have never even analyzed this stuff. Blobix, no, of course d5 is allowed. But I'm just trying to think, like, what's the point of bishop e2? That's my entire question. Of course d5 is allowed. But I'm trying to understand the point, you know? Pawn takes, of course d5 is critical. But I just don't really get it, you know? It's like a delayed bishop b5. Well, it's not meant to be passive. It's meant to be tricky, Excel Poker. It looks passive, but it's secretly tricky. You know, the point isn't to play like an old Indian or Philidor with white, I hope. If we transpose to a reverse Philidor, then, you know, I'm going home. So the point is, like, what's the deal here? Bishop e5 was played in a handful of games. A tempo down is not the main idea. So we're castling. And now what? a6. The secret a6 move. Right. So knight takes c3. So it's like you're playing, and black now doesn't have a good move to keep the tension. Is that the point here? Beyond just analyzing the game, I want to kind of understand the ideas behind this opening. I mean, you're basically playing the Scotch in reverse, where you've like sort of got an extra move. Or it's like a Scotch 4 knights in reverse. But why can't black just, you know, make a solid move here? Why is bishop e7, for example, not just equalizing? Or is it? I guess the thing that strikes me the most is this position. 125 games, and 120 of them where knight takes c3. Now, that's a big percentage. So black doesn't have any other option, like in the Scotch 4 knights. This is just not on the table. The point is bishop e5. Belyakov B. I don't think that's the original Belyakov. There was a good theoretical player from Belarusia. I think from Belarusia, but he might be Ukrainian. I don't remember. There was a Belyakov, but this is like a different Belyakov. Bishop e5. So the point is, like, eventually you're going to be hitting this pawn. Sack the freaking pawn, man. No, if he has to play knight takes c3 anyway, then there's no sense in... Then there's no sense. This is funny. D takes c3. I don't understand how black, like, loses this game. Queen takes d1, rook takes d1, f6, bishop takes c6. I mean, how exactly does white win this game against Lucas van Foreest in 2018? I mean, I would think like black is better here, objectively. I was just talking about this exact thing today with one of my students. If anyone's better, it's probably black. You have a better king, you have a very strong white square bishop, the queenside majority is not going anywhere, and black has a good kingside majority. I guarantee when I press like the engine, it's going to say black is better. Ta-da! Plus 0.8, plus 1.2. This guy beat Van Foreest, or Van Foreest, from a negative 1.1 position. But it's pathetic. I mean, he played d takes c3, like trying to draw with white. Ended up beating the guy. I mean, that is seriously toxic. Can you say overpress? Alright, anyway. So yeah, to answer Blavix's question, so the critical line is take, castles. But we have to ask the question, what's wrong with Bielikhov's? What's wrong with bishop b5 right away? It just transposes. Take, bishop d6. It's just a Scotch, yeah, it's just a Scotch 4 knights reversed. It really doesn't matter. E takes d4, castle, literally. C takes d4. Nothing, you know, no real tangible advantage for either side. What should black play here? Anyway, okay, it's not a theoretical, we're not here to analyze the opening. I was just interested. So, Shaki's opponent, of course, plays bishop c5. Kablam. Now, most noobs would play bishop takes f2. But our hero, he knows better than that. Now he takes d4, and so bishop e4 is the best. Bishop e4 is the best. Takes. Knight takes e4. There's obviously no queen g4. There is queen d4. Knight takes c3, b takes c, bishop e7. Queen g4 now. Weed killer. If your name is Weed Killer, you might get sued in a mass legal suit for cancer causing. Just a little joke. Roundup. Little roundup joke. If my name is Weed Killer, I'm definitely gonna change my name to avoid any legal actions. Alright. If you don't get it, don't worry about it. But perhaps bishop d6 is better. Grishuk Ponomarev. Well, that's enough for me. The fact that Ponomarev played it might be a good enough argument. He lost, though. Almost everybody lost. How does Blavix know so much about this? Grishuk versus Pomeranian. F4. Knight takes e4. Holy crap. You love Grishuk. Have you been forthright? Have you been very forthright with him? How's his well, I'm not gonna get into politics. Alright. You like him. Okay, see, and they love everything in France. Everything's I love you, I love you. Alright. Greasy chick versus Pomeranian. Okay, so that's supposedly like the critical variation. This is crazy. This is just crazy. Wow. I wonder what that was played, what tournament that was played in. You'd think like if you're Ponomarev, it would be kind of a risky thing to like try to pull this off over the board. Move 11 subscribed for 63 months. Just. I always have room for another. The question, like, I didn't get my question answer. I just started drinking beer. Beer was first on the list. I might have to do a WJ Loof, and we'll do a flight of each, because they chose Amaranth. I think that basically justifies WJ Loof's theory that we have to drink a flight of wine and a flight of beer. It's the only solution. I have room for at least one more. I mean, this beer is pretty heavy, but thanks for the subscription. Anyway, I gotta stop looking at this. This is too weird. Beer and wine were at the same level. They were. We should have waited longer to pull the vote, though. Although it's not a heavily attended stream. So bishop takes d4, queen takes d4. It's Katerina Leno versus Tatiana Kosenseva from 2013. This is similar to some lines in the English. So black played a TN here with knight c6. See, this is the thing. Unlike d6, knight c6, it doesn't necessarily construct anything. But I'm not certain it's necessarily a bad move. I mean, the knight on e5 is going to be like chased around anyway. And the queen on d4 is strongly placed, so... No, although everyone played d6, I doubt this is a terrible move. But I suspect this is probably better. So now we have knight c6. This is a big question for white, for Shaki where to put the queen. I was definitely leaning toward over here, but we have to calculate, you know, knight b4 becomes a thing. You know, it's important to note that white has bishop d1. I mean, if you go over here and he plays knight b4, just a note, you know, that, I mean, this is a way to defend the weak point, if necessary. So I think queen e3 is interesting, but probably black would castle. Then we would probably castle. I mean, black is... White has a... Let me put it this way. White has the central pawn, and he has the bishop pair. So I think for a what looks like a center attack, I mean, white has a pretty good position. You just do the normal center attack thing. And, you know, this bishop is nice because it holds knight h5. I'm sure you can sack a pawn here. This is a very strong center attack. There's no rook g4 like in normal variations. I don't really trust black's position there. But Shaki played queen a4. So I think this is a really important moment. There's also the Chinese variation, but I'm not sure that makes sense with bishop e2. These pieces are kind of, I think, important in the Chinese queen c4 center attack. That I made that name up, by the way. That you have the queen e2 retreat. The fact that the bishop's on e2 rather than f1 might actually hurt white. So I doubt that's a good move. So it's probably either queen a4, queen d1, queen d2, queen d3, queen e3. It's some kind of one of those five. But it feels like, you know, my problem is that this feels like it's out of... It feels like it's out of play. You know, it's not a Scandinavian where it's coming back here. Excel Poker said, cheers, thanks. We got to have a mini beer mug here. It's like, my family had like a huge collection of German beer steins, and I actually sold them all. Which really sucks. They're not real popular in the States. Okay, queen a4. XL Poker just gifted tier 1 sub to G Souts. G Souts of here. Yeah, I don't like Queen A4. It looks a little bit like it's not coordinated. No, I had to give up all my beer steins. We must have had like 25 German beer steins. Alright. Queen A4, D6. This queen looks boxed in. So I feel like probably Shaki isn't better. And now I could be wrong. Maybe he is still better. I just don't like the queen on A4. Where is Black King gonna go? I like Castle's queenside for white. H4 is a really good break. Okay, so this is like... Apparently, like, white's just better. Yeah. As much as I don't like Queen A4, it doesn't make Black's position okay. I mean, obviously, like, H4, Rook, HE1. You know, there are various attempts here for white. Bishop B5. You might almost, like, want to, like, try to induce Black to castle kingside or something. There's really no safe place for Black's king. But I was surprised by this move. You would think, like, simplifying would probably get Black closer to saving himself. And it's important that Black can keep this file semi-closed so he doesn't get, like, destroyed here. The moment of truth. So I guess we got a castle kingside. Can Black castle kingside and survive? I don't know, man. It doesn't look good, but let's just consider it. Is it conceivable Black could survive here? Okay, obviously you can't play that. The bishop's hanging, so castle kingside. White has to do something with the bishop. You trade. I'm curious what the computer says. Black's in a lot of trouble, but he might be able to hang on here. Let's see. A6 is the best move. Wow, F6. That takes iron balls to play that, right? Phew, man. Raise your hand if you would... Yeah. Raise your hand if you would play F6. That's like Petrosian. I wouldn't even have considered it. F6, castle's kingside, or A6 are the only moves. Now, the important thing is that white does not trade queens. White is slightly better in the ending, but he doesn't want to be slightly better. He wants to try to kill Black. I guess this was a good idea. Maybe Black gets away and tries to castle queenside now. Now he tries to castle queenside. F6 he didn't. He did Petrosian. Wow, H4. Because you have this, that's the other secret point. Nice. So castle's queenside is no good because of queen A7. This was not just a random move. White is slightly better. Oof. Wow, he went into queen A7. But in reality, maybe king F7. is the best try. No. Maybe we can survive with black here. It's not easy, you know, but I think location, right? It's like real estate. This location over here is nice except for queen a7, and I don't like it anymore. I think you're better off just playing king f7. Because now we have a problem. You're getting flushed out. So this is protecting b7. You have the hidey hole there. But we have an issue, right? He takes on g5. We can't take back with the h-pawn. Quote unquote fine. Better than what happened in the game. There's a possible d6. Rook takes us out. So much for running away. So pawn takes. This is where you definitely want to remain calm. You have a bad structure, but you're still alive. But white's king is so safe, and he has such a good pawn structure with no weaknesses. Wow. Suddenly, we're in trouble. You know, so it's a perpetual or something. There's a problem with d2 and like perpetual checks. If a3, f2 is falling, but maybe that's not a big deal. I would assume like a3. I still don't think a white can be worse. It's basically equal. But the question is, okay, where did we screw it up? We tried to be too fancy with rook takes d6 probably. I mean, the truth is maybe it's just not enough, you know? I mean, who's to say? I'm gonna like still say I didn't like queen a4, but it's not like chess, you know, random positions win by force. I don't know. Here, rook e1. There's also the Shirovian rook h3, rook b3. d6 apparently works. Wow. So we missed something. We missed something here. Oh no, it's third rank. So it's not rook d6, it's one of these lifts. The lifty lift. Wait, yeah, I had a hint from the computer. I didn't see the move, but I saw the evaluation pop. Yeah, king is not safe. I would assume rook d3, but I don't know what the difference really is with the rook lifts. Who's to say like which one is better? They both look strong. That's gotta be very strong for white. I mean, positive side, rook d3 like blocks queen e2, as if that's a threat anymore, but obviously white is playing for a win here, and the black king is not entirely safe. It prevents stuff like queen c5, and we're threatening rook c3 check, etc. Move 11, thank you for submitting the game. Guys, don't forget to get the hype train started. Have you seen my hype train? It's raining off and on here. I'm gonna like suffocate in my office. Chess streamer dies of office suffocation. Where did it go? September 8th. Yes. Move 11 is in. I have a 2. Yeah, I have enough room. I saved room by not eating dinner for drinks. What did I do? I closed the wrong window? Are you serious? I did that. Move 11 every time you screw me up. Alright, no. I was good. Yeah, I think these rook lists are winning. Let's see. They're both winning. Yeah, man, that's tough. And now it's a draw, and you screwed up. It's just a draw. I guess checking doesn't really help us, though. The king is kind of open on c7, so your best bet is to keep your queen on that e5 pawn and just play a3. I mean, theoretically, you can play b3, too. I mean, I don't really know. It feels like b3 makes more weaknesses. You could get... I feel like a3 is... I don't know why, I feel like this is a tiny bit safer. I guess black has rook here. That's kind of annoying. But we're still fine. You just have to play c3. It should be a draw. But you have to just accept that you're not better anymore, and that's hard psychologically. The magic bag of holding. In original, like, Dungeons and Dragons lore. The mug of holding. I want a mug of holding. The bottomless magic mug. Never-ending beer. Queen g7 check. Rook d7. Oof. That's a serious oof. And now we're getting mated on the back rank or losing our queen. Alright, good game. Almost. So next is Uber driver, who's not here. Guys, maybe we should actually do some of these games with people who I don't have on the list. I don't have an exact... Webmax1. One Webmax1. Got a gift sub from Move 11. Thanks, Move 11. You can have the Neiman Magic mug. What I can't... I'm not going to do this shit about talking about Magnus and Neiman, but the one thing that bothers me is that I see a lot of people like siding on a side, like, you know, it's not Republicans versus Democrats. Why does everybody have to be so partisan? Like, we don't know all the facts, so just don't pick a side. I mean, it's like, who knows Magnus's reasons? Like, give him a break. I think it's ridiculous. I've seen all these people like, oh, I'm on Neiman's team. Like, dude. Dungeons and Dragons has an item called the Bottomless Mug. It's a normal beer stein that holds 40 gallons of beer. That's not bad. Hikaru, said he's not partisan. Dude, the other conspiracy theory, Blobix, is that it's all just made up as content for Hikaru's stream. And both, like, you know, both of them are getting paid massive amounts of money. Right. I agree, dude. I mean, I'm not going to speculate. It's good for the viewership and stuff. But I really, honestly, what's the point in talking shit about something where we don't even know all the facts? Alright, so back to tournament analysis. Uber driver with the black pieces. What about you, XL Poker? You want to do your game? I guess you were pretty late submitting it. I don't remember. Let me see. Oh, this is the other game. It was today, so you're pretty recent. No, we'll have to make you wait. He's actually one of the more recent additions. We'll make Excel Poker wait. And if I analyze the games of the people that are here, then they leave, and then there's no one left in the audience at the end of the stream. You submitted it weeks earlier. All right. I'll do Excel Poker. That's fine. Then we'll do Sumahair next. But you guys have to promise not to leave the stream after I do your games. Or at least you have to leave your computer turned on with you signed into your Twitch account so I don't lose viewers. I'm just kidding. Alright. Where is it? Oh, where did I go? I went to the wrong place. Where did it go, dude? The opponent had contacted me about it. Yeah. He saw I created a study about it, or put it in my study or something, you know. He switched my provided game. Could I not put this in the analysis stream? Do you speak Spanish opening too? Now I can put it in the study? That's weird. Maybe I couldn't put it in the study before. It's not in the study, is it? It wasn't in there already. Yeah, I remember this guy's name. Okay. So I don't know who this guy is. It's really funny. Man, I mean, he has an incredible memory, though. Excel Poker's opponent, contacted me, and he was like, I remember you from Hastings. I was like, what? But I'm not sure now when it was, because I was there several times over a long span of time. Alright, anyway, I don't know who it is. I'm not sure. But if they know me, I mean, it must be, a good enough player to play in the Hastings Challengers, which means that your opponent is got to be, at least around 2,200. Usually there weren't tons of players lower than at least 2,100 FIDE. I don't know what the lowest was, but I mean it's a strong tournament, so this opponent has to be your level at least. Excel Poker's playing white. It's a Spanish. And then D3. So many people know Sladgy. I noticed that your countryman Shirazi and I have exactly the same FIDE rating now. Alright. My countryman. Your countryman. Whose countryman is he anyway? Alright, D3. But the funny thing was, I forgot to mention what the guy said. So I don't know even if it's still there, but there was this late night pub bar, dance club, more like a dungeon in Hastings called the Crypt. I had totally forgotten about it. This guy actually mentioned that. He was like, yeah, I remember you from, he didn't just remember me from the tournament, he remembered me from drinking afterwards, in the 3 a.m. nightclub or whatever. So it's funny. Everyone knows Sladgy's foreign drinking habits. You remember? He was a waiter. No, it was like a bar, man. It's a late night. It's a late night bar. There was no waiters. You just go to the bar. I don't think there was waiters and waitresses. It was called the Crypt. It's probably not even there anymore. So that actually answers the question. It had to be from the late 90s. So this guy remembered me from 1996 or something. That's crazy. Knight A5. Or a waitress. One of those hotties from Hastings. I've told the story like 1,000 times, WJ Loof. But I was a little put off when around 1999 I went to this tournament in Spain, and I finished my game and I went to the bar, and as usual I started drinking whenever the games ended, and Romanishin was there drinking a coffee or something, and he's friendly, and I went to him, and I was like kind of disappointed I lost my chess game, so I said to Oleg that, you know, maybe I would do better if it was I was looking for sympathy, you know. I was like, maybe I would do better if it was a drinking tournament. But Romanishin is like deadpan, you know, and he's like has a good sense of humor. And he was just like, no. In drinking tournament, the Russians would bring special players. You have a better chance in chess tournament. I was like, duh. So d6, h3. It can't get any worse. h3, knight a5. Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting thing here. This is an interesting thing, XL Poker. Classic wisdom is that you never give up your bishop. For the knight. I mean, there are open positions, right? Where the bishop's on c4 in the Vienna game. Sometimes in the Bodler, Sicilian and stuff. Where it's like knight takes c4 and like white takes, and I'm not a huge fan of this though. I mean, theoretically, you may not like it, but you're supposed to keep your bishop. So I mean, see, you don't like bishop g4, but bishop g4 isn't a good move, you know. I don't think that bishop g4 is a good line. I'm very surprised there's a Karpov game there with black. That's weird. Zyatanov is not a good sign. He plays some dubious stuff. I just don't think bishop g4 is a great move. Like h3, what is he gonna do? Bishop h5. Now his bishop is like off on the side of the board. Surprising that Karpov had games with both sides. Anyways. Alright, well, anyway, it's an interesting line. I don't think I would recommend it. You can also play a3 though. I guess like, this is more annoying. What's the point of a3 if you have to play c3 anyway? Sort of stupid. So a4 is a move as well. But I mean, I guess the main line is a reason. There's a reason why that's the main line. So anyway, this is interesting. Okay, knight a5, bishop d2. It looks like white is like pretending to be like a noob or something. Kaleidoscope guy, I think. Colonoscopy guy. Kaleidoscope guy. Alright. Knight takes b3. No shame getting a colonoscopy. I should probably get one. Knight takes b3, a takes b3. Bishop b7. Yeah, no, I have a friend who does shit like this. It's not that stupid. I mean, you got the control of a5. It's like you're pretending to be like a weak player and get your opponent overconfident or something. I'm such a noob. I let you take my bishop. Objectively, I guess it's probably like equal or something. What does the engine say? The engine's giving black like a imperceptible advantage. But the engine's like very biased toward the bishops. It's almost going down to 0 now. I had this position. Was it against you? I mean, I think I probably had it with black. Yeah. I mean, Stockfish obsessed with bishops, of course. Of course, it's right. If the position opens up, you know, his bishop will be a murderer. I mean, this bishop will be devastating if he manages to carve the diagonal. You got to be very careful about that. But I mean, the main reason why like white has won no games here, it's like the Mora Gambit. The main reason Excel Poker why white has won no games here is because good players don't play this with white. You know, I mean that's all there is to it. The first game is some kind of correspondence game. And the second game is Krum Georgiev, a veteran grandmaster, and then it's just downhill from there. Random, you know, average masters and stuff. But I think objectively, black wouldn't have, you know, so much better than 50% if there were like good players playing this with white. So you played b4, novelty. Yeah, I mean, it prevents c5. Whisper sweet nothings in Mr. Coffee's ear and see what happens. b4. I don't dislike b4. I think like c5 is a good move for black. You actually prevented him from playing that. It's a pretty important thing. This might be a seriously good move. Without c5, it's kind of hard, you know, for black to do anything. I mean, he has to play like f5. It's kind of far-fetched, but I mean, we maybe get our queen out on b3. h3 looks, I mean, h6 looks kind of robotic. And if I were black here, I would spend some time trying to find like a long-term plan. Black needs to play f5. It looks to me like that's what it's about. He really, really needs to play f5. If I could play f5, I would seriously consider playing it right here, you know, if it was legal. Knight h5, knight takes e5, of course. So, you know, maybe he wants to play like knight h7 or something, but h6 weakens his position slightly. And we've got to consider knight d7 with the idea of f5. What are you going to do? Knight c3, and if he plays f5, he's trying to drill his way through on the f file. I don't know if knight c3 is your only move, but from where I stand, I'm not sure about h6. But I think he played routinely. Like, I definitely, you know, feel like his play is on the routine side. Here, you know, it's like he's playing the main line. He's playing the main line like Zaitsev or something. I mean, I just said, like, the whole point is, like, black should be trying to play f5, but it looks like he's trying to play, like, d5. Maybe he's justified, okay. If he can make it somehow, but it's going to be hard to play d5 without losing the e5 pawn. Holy shit. The Lorax played rook e3 here. One beer in and I'm like making Lorax jokes. Dude, get me a match with this guy. I mean, rook e3 in this position. That is kind of crazy. Yeah, that's... Wow. That's seriously, like, trolling yourself. That's just an extremely awkward move for white. He's planning knight h4, knight f5, rook g3, and mate. That's just really funny. Right. Yeah, like in some kind of Kasparov, Karpov, Zaitsev. I still think that black, you know, if you understand the position, you understand black's advantages as bishop. So the secret is to open up the position for the bishop on b7. If we can't play d5, you know, we can play it, but we have to sacrifice a pawn. Actually, let's take a minute to look at this. Before we rule it out, let's consider, what would, you know, Nepomniachtchi do? It has that feel of those Nepomniachtchi-Carlsen games. Because it does open up over here, right? And we're on this guy. And if we take, now you're doubled on the b4. So white can get the e5 pawn, but we get the b4 pawn in exchange, and we've opened up the position in the process. Maybe this is something for black. I mean, it's not like he's winning, but I mean, move 11 had a similar game where he was just worse, horribly worse against Bagi Mate in a training game. He just gave Bagi the same bishop. Like, this is just crushing, man. I mean, it takes a strong player to execute it, but I think that black has a big advantage here. Unless there's some sort of tactic that I'm not seeing. You're going to have to come up with an answer for d5. And I guess you can play... You might be able to play knight c3. But I think there's still a problem. Bishop takes b4. So anybody want to guess black's best move in this position according to Sockfish? They say alcoholics make jokes about the first reading material they finished when they started drinking. Rook e3 is a creative way to play, where creative may not be positive. According to Sockfish. Yeah. Thanks to Yabatis. Alright. I'm gonna guess like d5 was very possibly black's best move. I don't like the way black played it. It was very routine. Oh! It's there! No, it fell down. Go back. Go back. Up. There it is! Stop it. Boom! You see that? d5 is black's best move. Ooh. d5. It's so thematic, right? He's got to do it. But this is so routine. h6. Yawn. Knight c3, rook e8. Yeah, well, I think you improved on rook e3. Basically, Excel Poker's playing the black side of the four knights or something. Bishop f8, knight g3, and now he played d5. So he got the idea. Good for him. But I think there is a difference now. The difference is the knight established itself over here. We can keep this secured. We can keep this secured. And it's no big deal. You don't have to give up your strong point here, sir. Sir. You have the wherewithal. Get it? Whirl. Do you have the wherewithal to play, like, I don't know, Queen e2 or something? Black's a tiny bit better. The queen's seen better squares in its life, but you're holding the strong point. You know, you've got control of all the entry points. Basically, this exchange is nothing special. I feel like you're holding the position. You're not worse. And I'm not sure that Black should do that pawn exchange. If you're playing like, if Black was Chigorin, he would probably, you know, play some kind of holding, you know, patient move like Queen D7. If Black is a strong grandmaster. But I mean, you are lining up on this later, maybe. Okay, so you play pawn takes pawn, but this is a big concession. Are you sure you want to do this? You guys might want to click on that link to see the story that Yabata shared with me. Oh no! Queen Elizabeth died? Live on my stream? Wow. Yeah, I mean, it had to be pretty serious. The news were all reporting about the family like traveling there to be with her and stuff. Wow. That's crazy. I mean, it's so weird, you know. She's been the royal monarch since I was born. It's not every day that the monarch of England dies. That's... You leave it to the Frenchman to make a joke, dude. Unbelievable. The bitterness will never end. Alright. Moment of silence for the queen. Queen E2 is passive, but I think your position is a tiny bit worse. But okay, if you can take on D5 and have some sort of justification for it, fine. Yeah, I agree with you. Fundamentally, Queen E2 is passive. King Charles. The only positive thing is that I outlived Queen Elizabeth. I guess that's a positive. Accomplished something today. No mean achievement. Queen takes D5, bishop C3. Yes. Pressuring the E5 pawn. Yeah, that story is sus. Well, move 11, you might want to get together with Excel Poker and try to like make sure that you don't give your opponent like unopposed bishops on the long diagonal, you know. Generally speaking, that's not a good strategy. My distant relatives are like Frenchmen who migrated to England, probably so, 1,000 years ago. So I don't know what to say, Blobix. I have kind of mixed feelings. Alright. Some of my relatives, anyway. Knight D7. Wow, Black doesn't want to have to resort to that. The passive retreat. I'm taking way too long in this game, though. I gotta go faster. Queen E2 is not passive, but rookie... Queen E2 is passive, but rook E2 is not. Excel Poker! Why not rook E3? I think you should do the foigle, like queen b1, queen a2 maneuver, challenging the black queen on d5. Yeah, your plan is to do the Magnus, queen f1. Classic Magnus strategy. He said the queen on e2 is passive, so he wanted to put it on f1, obviously. Because it's not passive on f1, it's very active. Under a ton of dirt. Black is a good player. But you know, obviously his bishop on d6 is. Imagine the evaluation of this position if you could maybe get your queen. If you could play queen g4 or something, you'd really have something going here. Let's joke about Winston Churchill. I'd honestly prefer to joke about Donald Trump. If we're gonna joke about past leaders, bishop f8, king h2. That's the title of my stream. Special Master reviews nuclear chess secrets. I wish I might have outlived Queen Elizabeth, but I mean, outliving Donald Trump is a serious achievement, dude. I hope that I'm lucky, but there ain't no guarantees of that. I'd be very happy if that happens. h5, wow. Squeeze me? I almost want to sacrifice a piece here. Holy cow. He just bluffed you like that? XL Poker? This is the entire point behind Queen F1. Show me the money, dude. Where is it? I'm taking. Obviously he plays F5. And then you have, I guess, knight G3. Nothing bad could possibly happen here. But I still need to see the evidence. I mean, it is a little awkward. It's a little awkward. Mildly awkward. It's super awkward, but for example, bishop d6. Yeah, I don't know, man. I agree. It's very unclear. Okay. I don't know. If you're a computer, that's easy to play. This is safer. I'm totally with you on this. This I agree. I just had to verify, that it was correct. Oh, now you did it. Honestly, Boris Spassky would be really, really into f3 here. You gotta like f3. f3 is... It's thematic, you're building your white square wall. I like f3. f3 is very solid. I mean, what is it about this that bothers me? I mean, he's gonna take, and then we'll have to give a little bit of ground with pawn takes. That's what happened. But I think what's funny about this position is that maybe black should be trying to play for an ending. Because he could get in trouble on the king side. He could play queen c4. I mean, his structure is really screwed after that, but I would at least consider it. This looks pretty weak, honestly. And black has rook b6 going after a b pawn, and it's hard to see what you're doing exactly. I don't really see what white has. You know, other than just hunkering down and being solid. It doesn't look like white has any threats after queen c4. Engine is like his move is best. No reason to panic. No reason to trade off the queen on f1. Alright. I was concerned that black didn't have any play, but he has c5. We'll remember forever that Queen Elizabeth died in the middle of Slaggy's analysis session. Does it say when she actually died? Can we get a verification of that? She died while I was analyzing Excel Poker's game against Sam Ganges. This afternoon, quote unquote. Anyway, black's playing really, really fast. Rook f6 was kind of awkward, you know. I mean, I'm not liking that. Now you got to take with the pawn, but you can't because of queen bishop c8. Oh man. Well, you have queen f1. I mean, yeah, you can theoretically take with the pawn and play like that. I would consider taking with the pawn. What's the computer say? It's totally bad. Where's your knight going? It seems like maybe he should play h4 now. Well, there's no rush. Black needs a plan, though. This doesn't look right. I mean, the plan was to play for c5. I would have considered the -3 position, of course. I never win when I'm like +2. What's the big deal with -3? I would have considered it, I said. You know, I would have probably like come to the right conclusion eventually, but you got to be creative. Bronstein would have considered it. He loved taking with the G pawn on f3. Creativity is key. So a lot of jockeying for position here. Pretty standard, like, maneuvering position. He pretty much like dominated the game. I really thought you were going to go for bishop c3. I think you should be happy with a draw here, by the way. Sometimes people are like irrational. If I can draw this with white, I'm taking a draw. You know, absolutely. I am worse here. I've been worse for a while. You know, if it's like a 1700, okay, you have to take risks sometimes. But if an equal opponent offers me a draw, I'm snapping it. Now he undoubled his pawn. c4 is risky. Because you end up with outside pawn issues. But maybe it just works. If you can play like knight c3 and hold it. This is obviously leaving me with a lot, and move 11 with a lot of sleepless nights. I just like lost 2 games in the same tournament with a passed h pawn. Almost 3. Blobix, you're brutal, dude. They're not going to let you go back into England. It's a big deal, man. Rook c8. Like, I get it if people are critical of the monarchy or whatever. You know, I understand that. a5. It's not every day, like, the only monarch reigning for my entire lifetime, which is 50 years, passes away. It's the end of an era. Whether you accept or support the idea of a monarchy or whatever, it's the end of an era. I think that's what you have to recognize. For me, that's the thing that's kind of sad, and it reminds us how short life really is. It seems like a long time, but for those of you who are younger than 50, I can assure you that the 96 is not really that long a time. Because I can tell you that, like, 49 years in my case has gone by very, very quickly. 96 sounds like a lot, but it's not that much. Rook takes a5. We got the a pawn. How did this happen? What just happened here? Okay. You got in c4, and then black. Like, notice his time. He's got 13 minutes against Excel's 5. Black has the big pawn, but I mean, White's knight wants to go to e3. White like lives for knight e3. His whole existence is based on knight e3. Maybe rook c8 isn't the move, Maybe it's completely the wrong plan. I mean, I'm not sure what black should play here, to be honest. But I see some interesting ideas. Bishop c8, bishop e6. That'll still be knight e3. Like, in every variation, you're playing knight e3 and sticking this in his face with knight d5. Do you know what my conclusion is? White is okay. How about rook d4? Where's move 11 when we need him? Can we do like a Bofinikian exchange sacrifice? Yeah, I mean, bishop g5 is probably, I think the bishop pair is kind of like lost its charm here. But this is a really important position for me. Black, like, feels like he should be better because of the outside pawn. But I don't think the bishop pair is that much. And rook c8 feels very superficial. Alright, we'll see. So bishop g5. a5 is almost definitely a mistake, it looks like. I mean, theoretically, you could play bishop d8, supporting the idea of a5. If you're like John Nunn or something. I mean, bishop d8, you can't play knight d5, rook a1, a5, and then like queen e1. Hello. Hello, nice to meet you. Now black will have to play rook a8. This is just an example. I mean, bishop d8 might be a good move. But black has to plan his entire setup. White's better according to the engine after rook c8. How about my move? What did I say? Oh, I said rook c8 was okay. It's a mistake according to the engine. a5 right away, rook a1, rook a8. Okay, a5, rook a1, rook a8, with the idea of bishop d8. We could transpose. If queen e1, bishop d8. Actually, there he can play a4. So queen e1's not even good. So rook b1 is better. So rook c8 is a mistake. Alright, guys, I gotta go on. As much as I enjoyed this game, White lost the bishop pair but gains that outside pawn. Whoops. Tragedy. White was short of time. Black played very quickly this whole game. Now, in this position, why doesn't he play bishop g7? I guess he didn't want to allow queen g5. Wow. Yeah, this is so dangerous for black now. What a materialist. I didn't know what to do. Probably the right move. Pawn is pawn. Yeah, Spassky would have been proud of Excel Poker in this game. Now white's probably winning. All we need is like a touch of technique. Did you panic? Like at e5 with the idea of knight f6 check? Oh, he's got bishop takes g4. There's no time. There has to be... You have to be winning now. Yeah, bishop g4 is annoying. I mean, he might be holding if he trades that off. I'm looking at e6, which would be winning, but this... is nothing special. Oh, wait. Oh, so it's something with a long diagonal. It has to be something with long diagonal. Imagine it's like a tactic puzzle. Something with a long diagonal. Dude, seriously, Blabik's probably been planning for this day for like... Most of the people in France were like planning a celebration for like 10 years. Can we do something with the long diagonal? We need to like decoy that rook from controlling c3. Man, I really want to play rook h5. Takes, knight f6 check, takes, you know, and have like some kind of sick forced mate with like bishop h6 or something. Yeah, I wasn't sure how long she was queen. I mean, I knew it was like my entire lifetime, but I wasn't sure when she was like installed. 70 year. Yeah, I was just saying that the sad part, you know, besides a human life is the end of an era. My entire lifetime era. So, alright guys, I gotta go on. What's the win? What's white to move and win? Camel culture. Boom, 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 boom. White to move and win. Where's the win? I wanted to play e5, but he has bishop takes g4. Bishop c3 is, you know, loses a piece. Yeah, you're really short of time. He's been playing for time kind of the whole game, though, you know, to be honest. Your opponent has played primarily just, like, quickly when he should have been playing better moves a lot of the time. There's no way to get the bishop on the diagonal. Bishop f4, bishop g4, bishop e3, bishop d4. I just don't know. I don't see it. You know, nothing direct. You have lots of good moves, but I don't, you know, I mean, this is like a good move. Probably. But you're not winning out of hand, you know? Alright, what is it? Yeah, it's really hard. And it's not even winning, necessarily. White doesn't have a winning move here. According to the engine, White doesn't have a winning move. Wow. You were never winning. You were just clearly better. Rook e5. So you played the #1 engine move. Or it's up there in the top 3. That's a neat move. You found the best defense. Defending against rook takes e6, obviously. But at least you didn't miss like a forced win or something. This is a nice try, too. You've got knight f6, man. This guy is on the edge. That's super scary. I mean, you're threatening queen f8. If his bishop moves off the diagonal, you've got mate. If he takes on g4, you have mate with rook e8. It looks like black's lost. It really looks like black's lost. How can you defend against all those threats? How does he protect f8? But seriously, I don't get it. How do you protect f8 without getting mated here? You gotta like give up a bishop with bishop g5 or something? Like, this is a serious possibility? No. Because I can take with the rook. Probably. I mean, maybe there's some kind of weird perpetuals or something. I mean, black's got like queen down, you know, rook down, if you give him a moment. It's a really interesting game. So he plays this. Is that possibly the best move? Wow. So you don't have win here. You gotta have something. My god. You just took the draw. You should at least play like rook takes e6 or something. I guess there you could play queen takes b4. No. Rook takes e6. And then do the perpetual. Oh, he has queen c1 check. Okay. But then you can play king h2. It's a little crazy. Alright, yeah. There's no reason to be fancy. Damn. Yeah, I don't know, man. I give up. I don't think there's a win here. It's no win. That was a cool game. So he just perpetual. I just like analyzed that for an hour. Explain like I am 5 why bishop f8 is not a win for white. You are 5. Because he's trading queens with queen c1. 5-year-old. He said it himself. Alright guys, I gotta speed through the rest of the games. It's been a long day for Mr. Mom. So what else do we got? Sumaher. Where's Sumaher? Sumer. That was an interesting game. Dude, where is Sumer? Sumer. Only if I like search for him does he come up, because he's like chat banned. Sumaher. You're not in. You're in the study, no? I didn't put it in there because it wouldn't go. You missed the move completely. Sumerian. Games for analysis. What? This won't go in? Yeah, because it's just 960 or something. I don't know why. Alright, so it wouldn't go in the study. Sumer qualified for the big chess 960. He was playing chess 960. There he is. Yeah, I don't know. It's not like standard variant. Wow, I haven't played chess 960 in a while. But it's a pretty good position. You know, it's close to normal chess. You got the rooks in the corner. You got no knights in the corner, which is good. King's in reasonable position. I think this is a pretty easy to play starting position. I mean, this is an open diagonal, so b3 is kind of weird. The Queen's Gambit doesn't work here, though. It's funny, like the third most popular move in the lichess database is c4. I would think like c4 has serious issues in this position. I don't see how the Queen's Gambit is like justified, really. Wow. There's only really a handful of games, but I mean, it doesn't seem as justified as a normal Queen's Gambit. Queen's Gambit. So you played b3. I thought that was funny because you don't play this type of setup in normal chess. You're looking at that, obviously. This diagonal. What is that? The second course. Yeah, I mean it makes sense. He's playing for his bishops to be open. That's what I thought you would do. The computer gives it a dubious. But I mean, you played b3 to seriously play bishop b2. I mean, he is it's like sort of threatening e5. But maybe you should just wait, you know. You kind of like want him to play e5 so you can hit him with bishop a3 check. So I think you should probably just play like knight f3 here. But c4 has the best score. I mean, I understand it, but this, you know, wouldn't be my first choice. It does open up the bishop, but I still think you should develop. What does the engine say? f4 is the second best move. That is an ugly move. Wow. f4. Wow, that's sick, man. f4. That is very, very strange. Maybe chess 960 does something to Stockfish. I don't like f4 at all. Yeah, I mean, here he like puts his knight on e6, blocking his break with e5. That doesn't make sense, you know. It's a really awkward move, like in the way of his e-pawn. He's trying to play normal chess too much, I think. His next move was queen d8. So he's just trying to set up like normal squares. He's not a chess 960 specialist. But I still think e3 for you is weird. I mean, you should just play knight f3. So what's the deal? Like, are you going to play knight e2? Now, maybe that's better. You're better off playing knight e2 to keep f3, keep his pieces off of e4 and stuff. This is fine. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, there is a question of this pawn. Does that get attacked at some point? Can he attack your center with c5? But I think you should give consideration to putting the knight on e2. Of course, this is super scary. Thus the f4 idea of the computer. Maybe f4. The computer probably still likes f4. I think that Stapvargan would be down with this. As far as stonewall attacks go, it's probably not the worst one. Alright, knight f3. At least he doesn't have like bishop g4. Now he played b6, and this looks late, but alright, it's a reasonable move. No, so you exchanged here. I thought you should castle. Is there a problem, officer? I mean, it's a temporary problem, but I'm not sure, you should exchange pawns or not. I would keep the tension. You can't see the name? Yeah, there's no names. Vladimir Rybkin. Dude, they have a strong chess 960 rating of 1905. It's Sumaher with white against Vladimir Rybkin. 1905 chess 960. Which is pretty good. It's, like maybe 2200 blitz. 2300 blitz. I don't know about this pawn exchange, though. I don't think you should have done that. You just got like an exchange Slav structure, and now the game is equal. Check. You're not into castling, I take it. Objectively, good bishop or no good bishop? I don't know. Maybe you're right. This is an interesting decision. So you play king g1 and you avoided trading your good bishop off. Maybe you're right. But I mean, still his bishop's very active. Okay, king g1. I saw the game before, but not in depth. Now the guy played strangely. His knight on e6 is very misplaced, to be honest. I was looking at this, maybe. I don't know what to suggest for black. But this looks strange. Okay, he's trying to play like knight e4. And Sumaher played h4. And now the guy... Again, I don't know. Maybe like bishop d6. But he played this very committal move. Knight takes e4, d takes e4, and then knight g5. So e4 is basically in trouble. So I think that black has to be very careful. There's no good way to defend this. I mean, knight c5 or something. There's no way that works. But he just took on g5. Now it's a very scary situation on the h file. So he calculated it and then did queen d5, defending his pawn and hitting g5, but Sumaher has f4. And there's obviously mate. And now he's got a good place to hide his king on f2, and white is better, I guess. But the next move, I don't know, man. I mean, f5 is... I don't know. I mean, I guess he has problems. You're gonna do the Sumaher checkmate on the king side. The H file is basically like death. Death warmed over. So f5 at least discourages g4. Notice the use of the word discourages. It's probably still strong. But it would be nice if you get your other pieces into the game too. This is really subtle. Are you ever going to bring your other pieces in the game? Oh, that's the plan. Yeah, look at that diagonal and that diagonal. And I guess at this point, black has to be very, very careful. So, I mean, any move of the queen, I think you should consider playing like d5, even if you have to sacrifice a pawn. Say he goes here. If you play b4, he plays bishop d5. And once he gets bishop d5, he blockades the square, and then he can play e6 and survive. But he just didn't have a clue. h5. That's a nice move. That's his best move apparently. Bishop a2, queen f7. No, he's gonna go here. And he's surviving. But he just didn't sense the danger. He played bishop d6 and then b4. Now, maybe he intended to play e6 or something, I don't know. But basically black is screwed. There's like nothing you can do. I think the other thing the computer liked was like bishop a6 or something, but it's too late for that because of b5 now. I mean, it's too late for that, yeah, b5. And then bishop a2. It's pretty funny. And then you did d5. And suddenly, it's the other diagonal. That's really nice. Now all you need to do is like rook a2, rook h2, rook takes h7. Black here, I guess, couldn't find a defense. I guess he has to try. I don't know what. I really don't know what to do. I mean, how do you defend against the threat of queen d4 and queen h8? Can you do h5 still? What about h5? I would imagine like g4 is a possibility, or queen d4 first, followed by like g4. That looks really, really nasty. Queen d4, king h7, and g4. I don't see how black could survive. It's over. Takes, bishop takes e4. Whew. And then this. You're too well coordinated, but e5 was a real panic move. And I guess you're winning here many different ways. I mean, you could also just like take on e5. 100% this is lost for black. And he just lost his queen. Plus the threat of queen d4. A little bonus. Yeah, now you play bishop takes e6. Dubious. It looks like, yeah, you're probably better off going here. Somewhat difficult for black to defend. You can't resist the material. You have a cute move now. What, rook takes h7? I like that. Because you got the awesome mate, with queen h8. And you're threatening rook g7. It doesn't seem like there's any sort of defense. You played it like the standard way. Like you were a trash compactor. Just compacting the trash. Queen takes f8. Okay. That was ugly, man. I mean, that was really ugly. I'm a trash compactor and I compact the trash. Mr. Coffee. Mr. Coffee's game didn't get in the study? We're going to get to the games as soon as we can, folks. Mr. Coffee. Annotator. I don't know, for some reason this game didn't go in the study, I don't think. Did it? Special Master Review. Yeah, Mr. Coffee's didn't go in. Okay. Or I just chose not to put it in. We wanted a special Master Review of this one. Mr. Coffee. Site. HTTPS. I'm really good with copy and paste. Copy and paste master. Like Uber driver with a Wikipedia. Psych. Mr. Coffee, you're gonna help us out. It's NN. Okay, this is the game. NM. Mr. Coffee versus NM. Right? Am I right? Where's my second flight? I've seen this NN before. He's not as strong as NM. Well, sometimes. Yeah, I always hate the C3 move. I want to play something else. If you look at the statistics, it's real close, I guess. White does have a higher winning percentage with B3. But he also has a higher losing percentage. B3 is sharper. I mean, C3 is, I guess, like the standard Kali system. C5 is just a transition? No? Or what's the point? I mean, C5... Are we talking about C5 for real? C5 is like Black's best move, probably. Black's being white, and white's being black. I mean, C5 is C5 is the most acid test of the position. What else can we say about it? The most dynamic move. I mean, you know, you don't have to play E6, you don't have to play G6, you play C5 first, keep your options open. It's a good move. But C3, slightly passive. I've tried to convince Mr. Coffee to consider playing... Was it this? Maybe it's just not good either. You know what the best move is. I don't know, man. I mean, I would assume C4 is the best move for white. obviously, but that's not the point. Okay. Here. Yeah, there was this game in my tournament 3 weeks ago, whenever it was. Somebody played the Kali system and they got a good position. I was surprised by that. It's just not a move you see at, like, 2400 level. I mean, an opening you see at 2400 level too much. Yeah, so I mean, if black's gonna play the setup, universally usually put the bishop on d6. This is like slightly passive. Doing this move first seems a little strange. Is it normal? Well, I don't think it's normal, but it's a move, definitely. Black doesn't want to commit to castling, so he can get attacked with that standard semi-Slav stuff. I mean, he could have played queen c7 first, but he's black a tempo down in the semi-Slav. I don't know. It's a good question. I guess if you take on c5, it doesn't matter where you put his bishop. That seems to be the main move. I really don't know anything about this. If I were white, I mean, it feels like you should strongly consider making a improving move, like queen e2 or rook e1. But according to the opening explorer, it's definitely d takes c5. Yeah, I mean, it's just insane. You took on c5 and he castled. Mr. Coffee would believe anything, dude. Juicebox Wizard, what's up? I'm gonna go with a glass of Riesling. Olas Riesling, Italian Riesling. Alright. It was really tasty. Goes well with beer. It pairs well with beer. Castles is... It's like when my poker friends asked me to play on my Nokia. Back in the day, I used to have a Nokia. And when the poker friends would be like, oh, will you play my phone? That was always fun. I would do like blindfold games against people's Nokias. It's not as fun anymore with like iPhones. But I like playing against Nokias. So what is black thinking here? I mean, seriously. What? Dude, you can't just like not take back on c5. That's insane. Now there is one game where someone played a5, and that Grandmaster Todorovich played last year. GM draw, it looks like, against Nikola. a5 is reasonable, but castles is not. So Mr. Coffee, it's like Ancient Aliens. You have to ask yourself, Mr. Coffee here just went with a normal plan. It's a little like a c3 Sicilian, but I mean, how we have to consider b4. I mean, what's the deal with this? There's no way like he can do this. I mean, we're like up a pawn. So he can do either e5 or a5. I mean, yeah, if he plays e5, like, our pieces are going to get forked. But I'm willing to suffer a little bit for a pawn. So we go away. Yeah, this reminds me of this game, another game in my tournament 3 weeks ago, where the kid who was like 0-7, he played like I used to play on the white side of a Geller Gambit. I was like, dude, you're doing what I did like 20 years ago that just like loses. And he lost. I mean, I don't think this is fully sound for black at all. But maybe a5. So a5, queen b3. I guess this is the question. How much did you calculate, Mr. Coffee? Let's ask him. How much did you calculate, and how much did you just like go on instinct here? This guy, you know, he was like losing a pawn on c5. But we can calculate whether or not he has a significant amount of counterplay. I would evaluate this position. Yeah, I think you're generalizing a little too much, but we probably have to. Yeah, I'm leaning toward thinking it's unsound for black. He has some compensation, but it shouldn't be enough. What's he gonna do? I mean, all right, let's say this, and then like bishop e2. And then like bishop e6, you have knight g5. I just don't think it's sound. Alright, if you don't feel at all comfortable with this type of position, probably you shouldn't be playing the Kali system. Because you gotta call his bluff here. Or, I mean, then don't play d takes c5, you know. Then play something else, like queen e2 or a rook e1 or something. I mean, there must be other variations. But I guess if you're going to take on c5 and he doesn't recapture, you owe it to yourself to punish him. Castles, I guess what you did, you know, you're just going to like not punish him and transpose back into something normal. Yeah, the queen died. But whatever it was, like clearly it was serious. They knew this afternoon or this morning that everybody was coming. Again, like, black clearly should take this pawn as soon as possible. He probably has to take it now. And we transpose back. But this is a mistake. Or no. Mr. Coffee and the Greek Gift. It sounds like a Harry Potter story. Man. Tejas has a game here from 2004. He's an old friend of mine. I think we played in like 1999. No, it was 2001. So, or 2000 or 2001. Knight takes e4. Bishop takes e4. Tejas played queen e2. But I feel like white has something here. We gotta look at the obvious, right? Bishop takes h7, king h7, knight g5 check, king g8, queen h5, game over. Or not. Let's make sure. King g8, queen h5. Maybe it's not game over. He has rook somewhere. It's not game over. There's also rook e8. It's not game over. Shit. I should know my Kali system tactics better. Alright. Yeah, I mean, Tejas would play it if it worked. It's pretty safe to assume. King g6 is often seen. So he played this. And you played this. Are you threatening me? It looks like French or something now. His opponent played bishop d7. Mr. Coffee's opponent played the wonderful world of f5. And someone else played h6. The wonderful world of f5. So, like, strategically, a disaster for black. You've got to consider doing the full Aaron Nimzovich now with bishop takes c6, because you have the blockade of all the dark squares. And he has trouble playing e5. I mean, if he takes with the queen, e5 is under control. I mean, you have to be better here. I mean, the first move that comes to mind is like bishop e3. I think you have a definite advantage. Kind of a technical line though, and I don't know. You know, maybe black is okay. Maybe it's Excel poker again. I'm not sure. You know, I would strongly consider it though. I don't think bishop takes c6 is bad. If he takes to the pawn, you know, it has some sort of this sometimes, but you're still better. I was talking about that your favorite diagonal Excel poker. You know, Mr. Coffee could get one of those juicy light square diagonals like that you like so much. But compensated by the Nimzovichian control of e5. So instead, no, bishop c2. Sudden rain. I have to close the window. That was extremely sudden. No warning whatsoever. Can you hear me? Alright, so Mr. Coffee, bishop c2. The good news is that this is not going to last like this for too long. All right. Mr. Coffee, you have to make sure that your opponent doesn't, you know, go postal with his kingside majority here. Keep it under control. I have only one question. Like, where are you going with your other rook? I kind of think like it feels like your rooks should be here. I don't even know if bishop e3 is a good move objectively. You could try like crazy stuff like b4, bishop d6. This is like sharper and more imbalanced. But you might end up getting impaled on the C file. It looks pretty dangerous. Now e5. That's kind of a sneaky trap. Mr. Coffee's threatening like here. By the way, I'm threatening to win a piece. Wow. So black has this idea. Hype brain. Yeah, thanks for the hype train. Move 11. All the queen gets is jokes, and I get a hype brain joke. You guys love me. Thanks for your support. E5. I mean, yeah, I mean that's like resigns, right? Like, it's the right idea, but there's no way that this can be played already. I mean, knight g5 is game over. Knight g5 has to be game over. Everything is like game over. Bishop e3 check, knight g5. Knight g5 immediately. His only idea is that if you like double up straight up, he'll play rook f6 and, you know, wherever. Queen here, rook f6. I'm not even sure like this works for black. I mean, aren't you even winning in this position? Like bishop g5 here, winning the exchange with knight h4. I mean, basically Mr. Coffee is just winning 8 million ways here. Black is just dead. Hype brain is over. So everything wins. Bishop e3, knight g5. I mean, after knight g5, he has like knight d8, but you have crushing moves. Crushing boobs. There might even be exchange sacrifices with like rook d6. I mean, your pieces are like perfect. This is why you play the Kali. Man, he's just getting strafed. There's no way black's surviving here. But maybe the simplest is that line. Seriously, queen d2, only move rook f6, bishop g5. If he goes here, obviously you win the exchange with bishop here. I mean, yeah, there might be some, I don't know though, like what move? Black has nothing. He has to go here, and then knight h4. I guess he'll try to sack the exchange or something. I mean, black's totally lost. Queen c4 check first. Well, he has knight d8. I guess you're winning anyway. You even have this. You still have the H file. This is so crushing, dude. This guy just like... Wow, H3. Mr. Coffee, we love you, but... Your annotation here is incorrect. I mean, H3 is not a strategic error. I would say it's a tactical one, you know. You're like refusing to calculate and see the force variations. Failing or refusing to calculate and see the force variations. I wouldn't use the word a strategic error, you know. That's not really a strategic error. I think it's a practical error or a tactical one. You would never take it easy on me. King h8, and now he played queen c4. But black gains a tempo for the defense. You know, by the way, does this still work? Will you just do the same thing again? Like queen here, here. These are very easy forcing moves to see. There is no excuse for missing this. I mean, same thing. You know, his king's not on the diagonal, but it's so easy and straightforward. Any 5-year-old could see it. The point is you're not calculating enough, you know, clearly. You have to force yourself to calculate more. Maybe you're in time pressure, I don't know. But I know you could do it. Or you're just being lazy. This is a good move. It's just a move late. It looks like it's not going to matter, though. I don't think this will save black. He has like what? He took away knight d8 from himself. And what's he gonna do? Like bishop e8 and a family fork? Even if he plays queen f7, you have like... You must have something here. There might be a way to decoy your queen with like b5 and knight a5. That's like probably one variation that might actually work for black. So he plays f4. Hello h7. So queen e4 doesn't work because of bishop f5. Queen d3 doesn't work because of bishop f5. Knight f7. Check, takes on e3. But there's no winning move immediately. I still think like white must have a forced win. Oh my god. Mr. Coffee. Such a sick hombre. Mr. Coffee is playing for the gallery with the smothered mate. That's a really sweet move, dude. I mean, that's almost worth it. Like, purposely making, like, an inferior move so you get the smothered mate. Rarely seen. I'm surprised he didn't fall for it. The problem is, like, even bishop c8 defends against it. There's almost no way to not defend against it. I mean, just this. This is the only variation that we really want to see. Mr. Coffee playing for cheapos again. Rook f5 defending against smothered mate. g4. No. Check. Takes. Now he gets two pieces. So this is like the other variation, but worse. In the other variation, your bishop's on c2, and you could probably play queen h5, and he would have to play g6 and like lose a pawn or loosen his position. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know now. Are you even better? Not clear. I don't like the look here of this. You don't have any like concrete threats. I'm guessing it's like approximately equal at this point. Are you really still better? The engine always likes the two pieces. Yeah. It's equal. Man, if you're perfect, rook d5, you have an advantage. That's an impossible move to find. Nobody playing that move. Unless it's like sheer luck. Rook f1. Hoping for bishop takes e3, check king h1, and queen f8 mate. But I like that you weren't materialistic here, Mr. Coffee. You know how many like average players would be like rook e1? This shows, you know, practical sensibility, not to be materialistic. Check, king h1. I mean, he's got straight up two pieces for the rook now. So materially black is winning. But you bring the pieces down. This is a really simple move. Okay, bishop c5, but maybe there's a better way to protect the back rank. I don't know. Bam. Yes. Ah, even an arrow. Now all of Mr. Coffee's pieces are maxed out. And one last, like, cheap back rank threat. We actually don't have a threat, do we? That is a weird move. Bishop b7 is really awkward. The direct approach. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like your bishop really should have been on this diagonal all along. You really, like, never should have played bishop b3, probably. Never mind, Nirvana. They won their lawsuit against the baby. I'm glad, dude. Screw the baby for trying to, like, milk them for money. That's so gross. That's so gross. The guy decides when he's like 40, I'm gonna sue them. I'm gonna sue them at age 40 after, like, bragging about being the Nirvana baby all my life. Seriously, dude. Grifter. Alright, bishop d5. Yeah, I think you should have just aimed at h7. That's the point that's really weak. Black's defense was, yeah, finally. Now we really got it. Got something anyway. Yeah, would you like to play rook h3? That's why it was a strategic mistake, according to Mr. Coffee. Now I understand, you know. You're referring to h3 as a strategic mistake because it ends up costing you, like, the rook lift with rook h3. In the light of that, you know, kind of perspective, I get it. You know, at the time it seemed like it was a total tactical mistake. If you want to look at it in the grand scheme of things, how do you think he got so rich? Do we have something here? Mr. Coffee, don't we have queen h5? I want to, like, sack my queen. But I think queen h5, g6, bishop takes g6, knight g6, rook f7 is, that looks pretty brutal. How does he hold this? Maybe he has to play h6. He's really creaking. Because if he plays g6, it looks really bad. You sack a piece, he takes, you play rook f7, and the only way to protect h7, other than, like, I don't know, queen takes h3 check, is knight f8. Now, I don't believe this holds. I don't believe it. There's no way to protect both these squares. So, he has to play h6 on queen h5. You're just a millimeter from taking him down here. Rook f6. What else? Does that work? It would be so sick if that worked. It probably doesn't work, though. Wouldn't that be a tremendous move if it worked? I mean, by the way, our rook is hanging on f1. It's probably only a draw by repetition. You're so close to winning by force. You have like this, this, that defends. Damn it. Well, there's this, this, and this. And then this, 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 and queen g8. What's the move? I like this variation the best so far. He has rook d3 check. This is beautiful. Right? Rook d3 check, king h4. Are you seeing this? Is this real? I'm drinking too much wine. Mr. Coffee, you clearly should have calculated all this. Rook d3 check, king h4. Obviously queen g8 loses to rook f8. Everybody sees that. Everyone in the room except for you saw rook f8. But he has bishop f2, king h5. Oh my god. They're so sick variations. King h4. Obviously you could play this to buy time or whatever. But we just take it and we're just winning. So here, rook f8. This is funny though. Here, I mean, white's winning with rook takes f2 probably, but for aesthetic purposes, we want to play this. And that's it, right? Or is it? That's like a game I had against this guy, man. This is so sick. It's like my game against the annoying guy who always moved around constantly, so I couldn't concentrate. Imagine you're like in time pressure and all of a sudden like, whoosh, rook takes h3 check. Oh shit, you know. You're kidding me, right? You have rook takes h3 check here. Yeah, it's probably not enough though. Here, bishop e2 check. But it forces white to retreat. Mr. Coffee saw all this, but he wasn't sure. Wow, that actually works. That's crazy. Is that for real? Wow. Mate in 4. Damn, dude. King h5, this is real. Rook takes h3 check, and it's a draw. It saves black. This is a real variation. You have to find g3. Bishop takes h5 check, and then king h5. How sick is that position? Ah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. The king on h5. I needed a little help from the engine to finish the line. Mr. Coffee should have seen all this. Very tactical position. So let's see, is queen h5 the best move? It's been refuted. Wow. There's a hole in my analysis. What the heck? What's the hole in my analysis? I don't understand. There's a major hole in my analysis. So queen h5, h6, rook f6 must not. It must be a hole. Queen h5, h6, there has to be a hole here. A big hole, the size of St. Louis. Is it even mate if he takes our rook? No. It's not made. There's nothing here. The size of Minneapolis hole. The rook f6 doesn't work. Then my line gets shot down. There was another funny variation. Here. 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 And I wanted to play this. No, this is important. This variation is actually important. But he probably has bishop takes g2 check. Okay, it's too fanciful. Anyway, Mr. Coffee played this. Rook g3, exclamation point. Alright, I can confirm this is an exclamation point. The engine said so. Bam. Threatening mate in one. And now we double down. Can we play some blackjack? Double down. I double down. You sack your queen with rook takes g7. Jesus. I had a friend one time who, like, Lev Albert beat him with this insane queen sacrifice. Rook takes g7, dude. This looks really strong. Is it not enough? It's seriously not enough. Rook takes. Rook takes. 2 hogs on the 7th. It's really not enough. This has got to be winning for white. Can you seriously defend with, like, bishop f8 or something? No, I mean, this is really dangerous, man. Check, king here. If the bishop comes to d5, you're dead. Wrong bishop. I don't think that's going to factor. This looks promising for white. Yeah, it's winning. It's winning, no? Wow. It's close to winning. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, it's the move. Mr. Coffee found another move that was good, though. The other winning move. He only drives manual transmission. Queen f5. Sacking the queen is much more fun, Mr. Coffee. This is like a study position. But I mean, here you're just like up the exchange now. You know, there's nothing fancy. Double question mark. Ouch. Yeah, I mean, what I really want to do is... What I really, really want... Please don't make me, like, watch MTV. Alright, rook here, rook here. I want something like rook e8, you know, to get him away. Queen h5. The games are too interesting today, guys. I'm not even going to get through them all. They were too much fun. But thanks for submitting fun games. So you forgot about bishop takes f1. Slight problem. But it made it much more interesting that way. Can I submit a study? Yeah, sure. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a game from beginning to end. Wow. I had the feeling Mr. Coffee lost his way. So what if we don't panic here? You can't play g4 bishop f3 check. That sucks. Damn. That sucks, dude. Do you still have something? Bishop takes h7? Oh. He did it. Wishful thinking. Yeah. Resignation. Mr. Coffee, tragic comedy. Sorry, man. Need to sharpen up. I prescribe like 50 tactics puzzles a day for you. Korchnoi claimed like he relearned chess at some point. What if he just like stopped and just did tactics for like a year or something? Wonder what would happen to you. Alright, Asterbait. We've been waiting forever. Wow. I only got through Shockey. Oh my god, all these games. We did Excel Poker. We're gonna have to go a little bit faster. Mr. Coffee, awesome. Here's my copay. Special Master. They should appoint me Special Master. You want to cosplay? Cosplay. You mean cosplay. Here's my cosplay. The next donation goal is going to be raising money for a Panda suit. So I can do like cosplay streams. What do you guys think? Computer or Panda suit for cosplay? Those are really expensive. I heard like they're like handmade cosplay. It's probably hot. WJ Loof, subtle message. Mine is very short. Ooh, it sounds good. Short is sexy. Alright, let's do it. WJ Loof, mine is very short. E4, E5. Knight F3. Okay, we're gonna get... Oh no, you didn't do F5. My god, man. WJ Loof played the Schliemann against Bishop C4. I've mentioned many times on my stream that I know for a fact that like Steinitz played this. I don't know if it's like better or worse against the Bishop's opening. You can always play F5. That's true. You can play it on the first move. Asterbait, how's your score against the Fred? Move 11 had a dream that I played the Fred against him in a training game and I beat him in 10 moves. Of course you can. Asterbait, when you go for the Panda suit, I'll have to do some pricing. See how much it costs. It would be awesome. Full body Panda suit. Knight F3, Knight C6, Bishop C4. At your own risk. I don't need to see an engine to know White's best move. You have to play D4 here. I can't believe these chickens that played like D4. No, I'm just kidding. D4 is the best move. Some people played Knight C3 and D3 here. I was telling Asterbait, it's the same principle, just different. If H6, you hammer him with D4. If F5, you hammer him with D4. If Black plays the safe move, you just play D3. You know? So what does our opponent do? Check it out. C3, theoretical novelty. Speaking of Panda, I have to do a Panda video. He played a fantastic game 2 weeks ago, and he wants me to make a video again. Yeah, like nobody's gonna find D4 under 1700. I think F5 is like too upsetting psychologically. They want to like take on F5 or... Yeah, the reaction is... The normal reaction is either you take it or you defend it. You know, they're like, I take or I defend. I don't think about like alternatives. Like hitting in the center. So you're controlling g5. Oh man, I saw this other crazy variation. Let me see if I can remember what it was. It was something here. h6. Wow, I know what it was. WJ Live, check this out. Maybe you played my other student. Oh, actually, you know him. Cooking Rooks had a game where he was black. And no, not black, sorry. He had a game where he was white. His opponent played f5, and he took on f5. Check this variation out. This is really sick, man. His opponent plays e4. And it's insane, man. This position is insane. Cooking Rooks didn't know what to do. So he like retreated his knight back to g1. But if you analyze this with the engine, this is insane, but knight d4 is the best move for black. It's really mental. You just like, you go to d4 and sacrifice the knight on d4. And the queen h5 is so strong that white is winning in all variations. Or at least white has like a massive edge. I mean, dude, how hard is it to find this move, knight d4? That is such a cool move. But that's the computer. Yeah, he can play knight f6 and he's okay. Or you. But if you take it, you're busted. Knight takes d4, queen h5 check, g6, f takes g6. Check this out. I guess I looked at what did I look at? Takes? I looked at takes. Queen takes g6 check, king e7, queen f7 check, king d6, queen d5 check, king e7, queen takes d4. This is just crazy. Is this cool? I mean, we're down nothing, right? Or we're down a pawn or something. But white's just totally winning. Yeah, knight d4 is amazing. Yeah. Dude, you could play 100 games on lichess, and the only person who's going to find knight d4 is the guy who's using his engine. But he wouldn't have played e takes f5 anyway, so basically you're not going to ever face it, because no one's going to find that move. They'd have to be like a super genius, like the Roadrunner or something. Wile E. Coyote, sorry. Wile E. Coyote, super genius. Yeah. So Cooking Rooks played like knight g1, ended up with kind of a bad position. But just saying, like that's funny. It's a very unique position. So c3 takes. Now white's in trouble. White's in trouble. I mean, what the heck? What's up here? What are we gonna do? We have to try. Man, even queen b3 allows like knight h6, I would think. There might be other good moves, but I would think this one would really put white out of business. There's no good move after that. There's no knight e5, there's no knight d4. You have to go back to g1. So that was the game. Wow. Yeah, man. He thought he had something on that diagonal, and this looks like it bakes him right away. You know, to be honest, you might have some crazy move. Nah. Knight h6 is just winning. Okay, not like winning, but you have a big advantage now. He has to play knight g1, but he went psycho. Wow. Does that work? Alright, I need to see it. Takes. Bishop takes h6. Takes. Check. King e7. It's not enough. White's busted. You had the right idea, but he bluffed you. I don't think this works. Okay, maybe he can try something else like castles. I don't know, you know. Okay, it could be like crazy and tricky. It's still not over. But I don't 100% like buy this. It looks like you have knight a5, right? It's the ultimate Evans gambit. He's gonna run out of pieces to attack you with after knight a5. Actually, I have the feeling like you're winning. So this is bluster. d4 is 100% bluster. You should call his bluff. Do you have knight a5 too? Maybe you can like just tweak the move order with knight a5. I mean, there's all kinds of weird stuff you could try, but I doubt it's sound. I'm concerned that queen e7 might be inaccurate. But I guess you still have this threat and this threat. I don't think it was like best. You definitely want to win a clear piece if you can. It's kind of, you know, less clear now. Wow, so you took an f3. I think that's important. You gave yourself a d8 square too. So he's got to try something crazy. Castles, maybe. I don't know. He's busted. This is too slow. Now you just trade queens. I mean, this is all business. Simplest thing to do is just trade queens. You're up. Well, you're only up a pawn, but it's enough. You're up 2 pawns. Temporarily. Better structure, 2 pawns up. I would just trade queens. Mo, do you have knight a5? You did knight takes e4. Wow, that's violent. I mean, first of all, you have to consider this. He goes somewhere, you check him, and his only move is knight d2. But I'm a little bit concerned if we don't trade queens. So this is like the safest move. Check, whatever. You trade queens, he takes back, you win a pawn temporarily, he goes here, but you like have a perfect structure. His pawn structure is like from planet, you know, it's from an outer solar system planet. I mean, it's like an asteroid. What is that pawn structure? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a really, really bad position for white. I mean, there's no way that he's okay there. But this is like aggressive. But as long as the queens stay on the board, there's a chance you'll blunder and lose. I mean, it's practical. Practical question. Takes. Oof. Yeah, well, there's no option here for him to, like, sacrifice you getting a queen. And then, bam. Yeah, so he had a problem. Wow. Knight d4 is kind of mean. And I suppose if you played bishop f7 check, you could just, like, go king d8. Well, that's a mean move, man. I don't see what he can do. He has to let you have a second queen. I mean, objectively, that's his only chance. Once I lost to Justin Sarkar, like, where he had 2 queens, I guess this is, like, his best practical chance. Let you have a second queen to keep the queens on the board. This looks like hopeless. You're getting the second queen anyway. Good game, man. Very, very cute. Alright. I got messages from Excel Poker for next week. Getting on the board early. Excel Poker. Need to start a new list. Alright. Is my connection okay? Because I had, like, looked like I had the connection go down. Thanks to Mr. Coffee for 1,000 bits. We got a stream tomorrow. I'm gonna see how long I can keep this up. 9:24. I've got 30 minutes, 40 minutes to do the rest of the games as far as we can get. That Shocky Uber driver, we did Shocky. We didn't do Uber driver. We did the last two, no, last one in WJ Loof. Alright guys, let's get on it. We got 30-40 minutes to do the last games. I have strict bedtime to attend to. We've been streaming 3 hours, almost. Okay, Uber driver. Uber driver not here. I'm gonna go over a game quickly. This better not be a long game. It's not. Alright, Uber driver black. Playing for cheapos. Another Italian game. Bishop c5. Thanks WJ Loof, by the way. f5 fun move. Knight f6 and now d4. Classical. Takes. Check. Yeah. f5 against the Ponziani. Yeah. No, I mean, play it by all means. You know, you get a hang of the pawn structure. You know, I mean, I think it's good. It's not like you're playing it in a master tournament. There are probably some issues, but you know, it would take a very strong player to refute it. And I think the practical value of it is very high. And you learn how to play like sharp open positions. Yeah, this Roman Gingiash really like recommended this. It's really insipid. He did some video on it 25 years ago. I mean, I played this once against Bob Furo, one of Uber Driver's many time opponents at the Boylston Chess Club. I played with White once and was unable to beat him in this variation. It's just nothing special. I think, like, objectively, the only way for White to play this is e5. You gotta play e5. I mean, there's no other chance. I mean, the Muller attack is tricky. You know, after bishop e4, knight c3, knight takes e4. If black doesn't know what he's doing, then it's tricky. But the theory was, like, basically, like, analyzed to death 50, 100 years ago. This is just a draw, you know, bishop d2. So Uber Driver should be happy. There was a funny game I saw. Was it knight takes e4? Maybe it was d5? Can't remember now. Alright. Take, d5, takes. This is main line. Main line of draw variation. I remember seeing Levente, our friend Tranquilizer, get this in a tournament game once. With black, I think. Obviously. Pretty tough to play for a win. The safest move is knight a5. But this is like an attempt to win. Wow, I didn't know this is even a line. Uber Driver. Cutting edge theory in the draw variation of the Gioco Pianista from piano. Wow. Bishop e6. I mean, I would be surprised if, like, Roman doesn't have, like, 500 games on the Internet Chess Club that have been recorded in this position. It must be analyzed. There's no way that this is the best move for black, and it would be, like, a new move. So it's the third best move according to Stockfish, but very, very close to the others. Wow, castles is actually playable. Castles is playable? Wow. Now, is that real? You can castle here? Jonathan Rogers. I think I played that guy. This is a real thing. Takes and knight a5. You're sacking a pawn. Bishop takes f7. And now queen c3. Wow. Rook e7 check, but there's knight e5. What are you going to do about that? Roman probably won this position like 800 times with white in 5-minute chess against random people. He probably has it analyzed out to a king and pawn endgame. Yeah, it's a little bit questionable. Okay, castles is too much. Maybe. But okay, Uber driver with bishop e6, and there's like no theory. Wow. Queen takes b7. And so the only games where this was played were knight b4, knight d b4, threatening knight c2 check, threatening to trap the black queen with rook b8. You know, so the point is, if bishop takes e6, your queen is trapped. Have a nice day. I'm sorry we lost Blobix. He would have enjoyed this. Queen b5, rook b8, queen a4, bishop takes c4. It's like, this is like the 10th reason why this variation sucks for white. I don't understand it, man. We'll just make a video about anything. Castles, white gets away. Yeah, this is not 100% convincing, but it looks very drawish. If you're playing like, I don't know, Ulf Anderson, you might lose with black here, I guess, theoretically. Who else? Uber driver with a novelty. Let's check it out. Queen b5. You played knight a5 novelty. Obviously, like, it's possible to play bishop e5 check. I mean, I'm a little bit confused. But I don't know. Do we play c6? Bishop takes c6 check, move the king. And he's screwed, right? No, the rook's hanging. Whoops. Oops, that's not an option. We've got to take, and then takes with check. So bishop e5 check. King moves immediately. Very important. Now queen a6, and now c6. With the idea of some tricks with knight b4. That does look dangerous. But apparently it's all like a big cheapo. With perfect play, white is better. Wow. Yeah, it's a nice cheapo. I mean, it could have been a forced win for all I know, you know. But it's basically a cheapo. But he has a better move, queen b5 check. And that was the game. c6, okay. Similar. Yeah, it's a question of if black has enough compensation. He takes the bishop. And white could have played queen takes c6 check. But he just took here. Castles. Castles. And black has compensation based on the powerful light scored bishop. Wow. I mean, it's fine for a blitz game, but I wouldn't play it in a tournament necessarily. Yeah, I mean, white has to be careful. He didn't appreciate the danger. It's Excel Poker's favorite bishop favorite diagonal again. You'll never live it down. It's very important in chess to have like a sense of danger. That white square bishop's the theme of the day. I was thinking queen f6. I wouldn't be surprised if black had some even crazier move. But I really want to do something like this. Like, let white make a random move. I don't know, you know, knight b4. What I want to do is this, like knight here takes, and then queen takes f3. Doesn't work though, yes, stupid knight takes d5. You have to find another irrelevant move. Alright, knight a5 here. Something like this. That's a beautiful game. Game over. Anyway, he did get a mate. Bishop d5, knight c6, queen d7. Another kind of cheapo over here. Queen h3, wow. Yeah, that's sweet. Elegant. That's just as good. That's how I got mated by this really low-rated player at the Boylston Chess Club in Blitz, Bill McClellan. He's like 85 now. He was literally the lowest rated player I ever lost to in a Blitz game. He was like 1600. He mated me with one of those, you know, the knight on the diagonal, the knight and bishop on the diagonal and corner square. I just didn't see it. All right, Astrobate, you're finally up. The Benoni. The Benoniist. Correct. Benoni, modern Benoni. Chiku against Astrobate. Yeah, we've been waiting all night. But I will share with everybody, like, Astrobate played a really nice game on the black side of a Sicilian Bodler that I saw today. One of his best, I think. It was very mature. I am out of book on bishop f4. Let's flip the board though. This is Astrobate playing black. So let's just boom boom. As many of you may or may not be aware, there is a very important variation for white. Knight f3, g6, and then bishop f4 here. And I know that going back a year or so, Cheaperspieler was playing on our stream a lot. He had a couple games with me and Astrobate. But bishop f4, it's tricky. White doesn't play e4, and there's like things with queen a4 check. It's a very different position. This combining, like combining e4 with bishop f4, I think it's like you're mixing up, you know, different things, and they're not really related. It's not a bad move, but it doesn't do anything in particular. It's the proverbial apples and oranges. And so it goes. It's one of my favorite authors would often say, White's supposed to play knight d2, overprotecting. Wow, White has a huge score in this position. Holy shit. So Astrobate, it's interesting. Castles looks like the right move, but if we go by the database, a6 looks better. I mean, I gotta believe castles is okay. It's just too fundamentally correct to be wrong. And black could also consider knight h5, but a very committal move. I don't know. We have to look at look to the Benoni experts. Queen a5 doesn't work because of knight d2, presumably. Queen a5 is always bad. I feel like castles is a more natural move than a6. So I don't criticize you for playing that. Statistically, though, it's interesting. a6 is a better score. So we're actually transposing back to a queen a4 line. That's weird. Alright, let's try castles. Why does White have such a crushing score here after knight d2? Gavrikov Defermian, 1995. Nick is like one of the best Benoni players in the world, really. He's an expert. Fischer clone. He's from that generation. Not too many people specialize in the Benoni with black. Sakis, Defermian, Gashimov later, but he was like the last person. But this is a mistake. Okay, bishop e2 doesn't do anything. Now Asterbate went like really flaccid. I can't believe this is you, dude. Knight e8. Stuart Wagman. He's like an American that lived in Italy or France or something. Why would Asterbate play knight e8? Dude, you're making progress as a chess player, even if it's not a good move. Look at Asterbate with the prophylaxis. Knight e8, defending the d6 pawn. You know, earlier I was talking about Bielikov, but this is Bielikov. Bielikov and Bielikov, they're different. That's the Belarusian, Bielikov, with a V, but it's a B. B and V are the same letter in Russian, right? Man, Asterbate progressing, but a move you don't want to play in the Benoni unless you have to, right? We don't want to. Asterbate, what's the best way to defend the d6 pawn? Let me ask you. Seriously, everybody. Everyone's allowed to answer this. This is an important Benoni question. What's the best way to defend the d6 pawn in the Benoni? Anyone? What is it? Knight e8? Queen c7? Bishop f8? Is anybody out there? I feel like I'm in the middle of Bird Box. Excel Poker got it right. He probably heard me say this before. You don't defend it. The best way to defend the d6 pawn, and it goes for the King's Indian too, right? Is that you don't defend it, dude. You don't defend it. Like, you try to counterattack. Always try to counterattack. It was a trick question. We don't defend it. We counterattack instead. Exactly, Excel Poker. Just don't. I want to get like an Anatoly Lane t-shirt with his face and his hair. Just don't. And it says like, just don't on it. Alright. You gotta watch the stream enough to know all my little stories. Just don't. But Move 11 has a good memory and he likes stories and wordplay. Just don't is, it's Anatoly lying in unpleasant position when people are like spectating. He couldn't figure out exactly what to say, so he was just like, just don't. He didn't know what to accuse them of, so he just uses like a catch-all. Yeah, bishop g4 is kind of standard. Lev. It's the standard. I mean, I'm not saying like this is not a serious thing, but Uber driver was checking the opening explorer. Lagignan tile 1971. A6, A4. But the question is, then what, right? You know, Queen E7 can be a good system. Because if you get everybody like ganging up on the dark squares, you can get some stuff going on. And Queen E7 isn't necessarily that passive. The Queen on C7 is often very passive. On E7, not as bad. Anyway, okay. I gotta go, guys, in like 20 minutes. So we're gonna go through the rest of the games quickly. Holy shit. You guys know Sabalo just passed away like 2 days ago. Spassky outlived him. But Miso was a very active player. I mean, he was playing, you know, I think he was 75. He's much younger than Spassky. He was a really, really nice guy. I'm surprised Blobix wasn't here when I mentioned it. He probably knew him. I know Blobix played tennis with Spassky, but it's so sad. Acerbate played like Spassky in 1986. Unbelievable. Yeah, I just don't like playing 98 in principle. Wow, that's weird. But I mean, I'm curious why Acerbate is omitting A6 for so long. I would definitely play A6 now. I can't see any reason not to. But this is cool. You reopen the case. You reopen. This is a very unusual maneuver. You know, a lot of like Potzers play like knight b6 in the Benoni. This is never a good move in the Benoni. I'd rather play that than knight b6. White, yeah, white's playing okay. This is a good move, like bishop g4, I think, here. You should trade pieces. Given the opportunity to trade pieces, I think you should trade pieces to relieve the cramp. You know, you took away your good bishop on the diagonal. Now you got to think about what you got, you know. That was what John Fedorovich told me. Think a lot, think about all you got. What do you got here, Acerbate? What do you got here? You got less space. You got less safe king. What else do you got? You got a little bit of more control maybe on the dark squares. But this will probably be a reasonable try. You got less space. Trade pieces. Okay, knight g5 is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. Houston might have a problem. Seriously. So maybe this is necessary here. But I don't think you should have taken on h6, dude. You had to play this. Don't give him queen h6. Yeah, the Emil Salancy f6 here is probably worth considering. My friend who's a Benoni lover oftentimes would play f6. It's really not a problem, especially if you don't have a bishop blocked in. Maybe you play knight e5 and you recapture with the f-pawn. If possible. We would prefer to recapture with the f-pawn. I know a lot of people who like playing g5. I'm not really into that unless I have to. But Acerbate, this is a serious problem. Like, we want to take with the f-pawn, not really with the d-pawn, because now our c5 pawn is weak. White has a protected pass pawn on d5. Although that's probably not a great move by white. He needs to, he needs a correspondence course with like Jeremy Silman or something. Teach you how to make progress on the queen side. Queen e3, b4. Rook d1 is going nowhere. You're going to play knight d6, obviously. He needs to concentrate on this or trying to break you with b4. Not do the impossible. I mean, probably like d6 is a better move than rook d1 because you just lock it down. Now you're golden. Now you're solid. And he lost his rook's, pressure for f4. Not happy about that exchange. That was a good move. Bishop g4 is a good move. The acerbate maneuver. Did you guys know this has an actual name? It's called the acerbate maneuver. If you're really, really hardcore, you might maneuver like bishop e8 here. That would take serious guts. This guy is like the other guy from the game who played rook e3. Dude, I would seriously like be in your face, dude. I'm going to play bishop e8. If you're going to play rook d3, I'm going to play bishop e8. Then he goes here. I don't know, man. I don't know. He had an opportunity to trade off his bad bishop and he didn't do it. I would seriously consider playing bishop e8. That's a gutsy continuation. But Acer played b4. I guess this is just strong. You're just winning his central pawn. Yeah, screw him. You're winning his central pawn. It's gotta be right. Bam. Why not just take? Okay. You didn't want it. I think you should take it. Always take central pawns when they're free. Now you took it. But he didn't have to give it to you. He could have played rook e3, right? That's the problem with your move. Acerbate is a great position, though. I mean, even f5 is interesting. You got rook coming across here. You have talent, man. When Acerbate can get his pieces coordinated, you see he really has natural talent. But I think here you freaked out. I mean, just 96, game over. Never ever let him destroy your pawn structure. Now he destroys your pawn structure. Now it's like totally up in the air. Game is completely unclear now. He has like knight g3, knight e4, passer here. If you play knight d6, he can resign in this position. This is game over. White resign. Knight g3, f5, resigns. There's nothing for white. He's basically lost. But this is huge mistake, man. The details. What is that, the quote? The devil is in the details. Acerbate, the devil is in the details. Bishop d3. That's a beautiful move. It's a beautiful move that doesn't really look like it defends e4. I gotta give you credit, man. It's a very nice move. There was stuff. Yeah, bishop d3 was simpler. You gotta like this move, though. You gotta give him credit. The problem is knight takes e4. Instead of... No, I mean, yeah, he can do this if he wants to, but it's not, like, ironclad. a6 is hanging. I guess there is queen b6. And white can play some crazy shit like d6, I don't know. It's not that clear. I mean, I thought the way he played it is okay. I don't have a problem with the way he played it. I mean, this is not a complete lock. I mean, I guess you do have this. Objectively, black's winning, you know, especially if it's like Magnus versus Hans or something. Even if it's a draw, Hans will win somehow. You meant G5? Say what? Knight G5? Oh, F5. Oh, you mean bishop takes E2 in between move? Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't. It's a move, right? It doesn't change history. We can play that, but yeah, you're right. I mean, Acerby's up a clear pawn or two here. Yeah, it's good. It's good. But you don't allow this disaster, right? Yeah, this is messy. But you see what a sick, twisted genius he is. He sees rook takes f2. The problem with the move is that it's just not forcing enough. It's a brilliant move, but you don't really have a threat. You know? It's only if he takes it is it good. Of course, the guy takes it. You're not threatening anything special. Acerby is a misguided genius. Check, check, and the river guarding rook, the Acer rook, decides the game. Nice job. Rook f3 looks kind of interesting here, to be honest. I'm definitely playing that. Then he has like knight h1. I don't know, man. It's a good game. Wow. Cute. Yeah, I mean, you should probably consider blockading that pawn. Actually, yeah, I would definitely blockade. You're winning, objectively. Okay, good game, man. Another pawn. Another brother. This guy played it out a little too long. We got it. Nice mate. Alright, guys, I have to go in 15 minutes. So we got a few more games. Yabatis, Big Dummy, then move 11. 5 minutes per game. Yabatis is white. Usually submits like Ullman Fisher with bishop f4. Yeah, but are you talking about, you know, bishop f4 without e4? So this is like a really bad Queen's Gambit accepted. Black's basically a tempo down in the Queen's Gambit accepted. Oh, e4 and then bishop f4. That must have been like before that bishop f4 line became popular. Bishop f4, a6. Bobby played a6. So this is a disaster. Knight g6. Always a bad square. Bobby Fischer. Knight 3. Do you guys know what knight 3 is? If you think that Bobby Fischer spelled F-I-S-H-E-R, you probably don't know what knight 3 is. But the knight's third pawn, right? Knight's file, third square. This is always a bad square for the knight. I like the way that Yabatis played this with h4. He's crushing. H4 is crushing. Here, bam. And as I told him today, Alpha Zero would have played h6. But, you know, and Hans, obviously, little tongue-in-cheek joke, would have played h6. I'm not on a team, you know. I want to wait for more information on that scandal, but Alpha Zero likes h6. It's the best move, probably, but I like the way You know, I like the way Yabatis played this. It kind of creative. He tucks his bishop on h4. And you gotta give black credit. Probably he should have played queen d7 like immediately. He doesn't have to commit to castling, by the way. Black is like a French player. But I think he should keep his king in the center for now. He committed his king over there. Rook h3. This is a beautiful move. Beautiful. Threatening rook g3. Check this out. Queen d7, classic French defense style move. Rook g3. And his opponent is like, oh, I'm Smyslov. Nice to meet you, Mr. Smyslov. Rook g4. b6. I'm going to develop my bishop. Favorite diagonal. Right? Check this out. Queen d2. Bishop b7. And now bishop f6. Really nice move. Yabatis. Bishop takes f3. And obviously, we have some moves here. He missed or chose not to play rook takes g7. Knight takes g7. Queen takes h6. But another funny move, this is my favorite, it's like queen h6. That doesn't work, right? Because the bishop takes g4. So we have to play rook g7, okay. But in the game, he recaptured. And now black plays knight c6. And so this position, rook takes g7 wins, and that's the game. Rook g7, knight takes, and then queen takes h6. Undefensible, threats. But I thought it was funnier to play like queen h6. But it's, I guess, not mate. Queen h6, knight h6, rook takes g7, king h8, rook takes f7, king g8, rook takes d7. This is not mate. But there was a funny variation we saw. After rook takes g7, black's best move here is not to take the rook, but to play king h8. And then, this is really amusing. Like, try to guess the best move for white in this position. It's fantastic. White to play and win. What's the most accurate move for white in this position? It's really funny. The ultimate quiet move. Bishop to d3. Because it's important to add like control of the h7 square to our arsenal. Now you're threatening like queen h6, knight h6, rook h7, king g8, rook h8 mate. Among other things, this is really brutal. Yeah, you're threatening queen h6 and mate with all checks all the way. Bishop takes d3, there's no defense. So yeah, like queen takes d4, queen h6, only move knight h6, rook h7, double check. And by the way, like we have an immediate mate actually. Yeah, anything, like here. But it's more elegant, I feel like, to do it this way, mate in two. Yeah, it's a nice attack. Okay, last games. Big Dummy, WJ Loof, move 11. I gotta go in like 10 minutes. Big Dummy's playing black against the... Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of taking on a3. I don't play that, but let's see. It turns out knight takes a3 is the most common. So it looks like white has compensation. But c3 is a really unnecessary move, I would think. Cyprian Nanu, he was like an unpleasant opponent I had. I don't know why. I didn't like him. He tortured me in a rook ending once. I got a draw, but it took forever. Knight e2, bishop g7, castle, castle. Frank Ferentz. So always like people I know that pop up. Knight d2. I know everyone. Yeah, rook e8 is a weird move, but okay, you're getting off the diagonal. I mean, I wonder if black could like sacrifice the exchange. Like seriously, who's better here? Well, I didn't even notice like d3 was hanging, but it's a minor thing. If you sacrifice the exchange, yeah, I don't know. I just like impulsively figured we had compensation. So my point is like, I wonder if rook e8 is even a good move. Losing my voice. Black played kind of slowly, but I guess it's okay. White went for d5, knight's on the side of the board, but relevant. Yeah, not a good Spanish knight. You definitely don't want to be playing Horvath Adam here. There you go, but you lost the pawn. Slight problem. Yeah, that knight maneuver was worthwhile, so white's just lost. This is a funny move. He's been very efficient so far. Never moved the same piece twice, except for that knight, and then suddenly he goes rook e c8. But it's fine. Black played like computer accuracy in this game. Absolutely. I don't think an engine could have played this better. It's a technical win. Now he's a little tied up. Wow, he did the sealer sweeper. Oof, that's ugly. Yeah, it got a little weird here. White got more play they should have gotten. Ultimately, it wasn't enough. I wouldn't release the tension. I guess he had to. It's just too many pawns, man. Those pawns are out of control. I don't feel like white ever really had a chance. h6. The critical h6. Two connectors. I mean, Big Dummy's a really good player, but his technique, a little shaky. Brutal. Very shaky. And then that move? Wow. Very impressive. Alright. Last games. We've got WJ Loof, we did that. It's just move 11. Finally. How many games did we do today? 8, 9, 10. I think we broke the record. Like 11. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. We had Mr. Coffee donate 1,000 bits. Gift sub for move 11. Excel Poker. Baggio's been like terrorizing move 11. Kaleidoscope guy? No. Too many games today. Sorry. We don't do queen odds games, but it was too late. h3, h6. I gotta go. So this is interesting. Looks like correct play by both sides. Rook e1. Yeah, queen s6 is a really weird move. It looks very artificial. Baggio's used like no time here, but I mean he's a good player, but this, I don't know, man. Queen f6, it just feels wrong. I guess it's not terrible. reminds you of a Steinitz defense. It is a Steinitz defense. That's why it reminds you of the Steinitz defense. It's a Steinitz deferred. But technically same thing. Yeah, I just don't like Queen f6. That was actually played in a game by this Italian Grandmaster Moroni. It looks very unnatural. Yeah, I mean, it's not even in the top 3 moves of the computer. Queen f6, you just feel it's wrong. Man, if you could only get your knight, if you could only get a knight to d5, black would be, like, devastated. I feel like white's bishop should be on f1, though. Wow, Uber driver. Connecting rooks. Rook a e8, queen d8, and bishop queen c8. So it's like playing queen b6 and the accelerated dragon, then going rook f c8 and queen d8. Here we're doing rook a e8. Nice idea. So Bajiu just like puts his rook on the wrong square. It's really weird. It's like he's following the opening explorer. What's the chance he would like play the exact move that Luca Moroni played? That actually looks wrong. I agree with Uber Driver. But maybe there's a problem with the bishop on d7. Well, let's try it. Rook a e8. Pawn takes pawn. And we can't take with the pawn. That's the problem, right? So you have to take with a knight. Which gives up, you know, gives up the center a little. Knight takes e5. And now black has to recapture with a heavy piece. And like, which one? Rook takes loses the exchange to bishop d4. But, you know, who knows? You could always sacrifice the exchange. Queen takes e5. Controlling f4. This is okay. You know, speaking of the Benoni, I mean, it sort of seems like black's okay here. I feel it. You know, Uber driver, you might be right, man. There's something bad about this. I mean, Luca Moroni, an Italian Grandmaster, was playing at 2190. Like, he could play not anything, but I mean, you know, he's playing a guy who's 300 rating points higher. He doesn't even have to play the best moves to beat him. This move is weird on many levels. I mean, I get it, he's like protecting his bishop, but it sucks, it's inactive. It blocks his queen's retreat. It blocks his knight's retreat back to d8, which would go to e6. There's a million reasons why Uber Driver's move makes more sense. Absolutely. The only question is that exchange on e5. But it looks like it's okay. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. What's the engine say? There it is. Proof is in the pudding, boys and girls. Rook a e8 is black's best move here. Good call. This is artificial. Our queen is screwed. We've got no retreats back to d8. The rook's inactive. Move 11 played d5. White doesn't have that many options. I mean, we don't have takes anymore. This guy, the 2100, played this. Let's see what happens. d5. Well, I mean, it's a King's Indian, dude. The rook is not great there. I mean, whatever. You can play c4. What would Bobby Fischer do? I mean, we've got c4, c5. As far as King's Indians go, though, I'm a little concerned. Like, I want to have my bishop on f1. So move 11 with knight 3 h2. You know, that might be better than what the guy did with knight on 2. Knight on 1 to h2. I don't know. What I really want to do is like knight h2, Bishop d3, bishop f1. But he's threatening knight g4 now. This is actually serious. This is a serious problem. Look at his queen. It's awkward. Speaking of awkward queens. The queen. Yeah, move 11, it feels like black. I don't know, man. What to do here. Maybe he was right. This guy? Because you keep control of h4. And now you're threatening knight g4. What happens now? Like here? Here? Isn't that a problem? Houston, we have a problem. You have to take it now. Goodbye, light square bishop. Nice knowing you. Seriously, dude, what's up with this? What's he gonna do? So if you play this, what does he do? +3? Ouch. I guess you moved the wrong knight to h2. Wow. Yeah, that was artificial. Black got away with murder here. Now h5 and he's okay. Yeah, we never want to do this. How many times did I play, like, the Uber driver knows I like to play the white side of the King's Indian. But I mean, this is a problem. Super B. His bishop's too strong. You know, he's gonna undermine you with like b5, b4. We didn't want to do this, but we probably had to. We're missing our dark square bishop. It hurts. It's a King's Indian. Move 11 just start playing like d4. You gotta try like knight f5 here. I would think. My favorite was like beating Boris Kryman in the New York Open. It was like revenge for the time that he was like kicking me under the table in the last round money game. I always disliked that guy. He was just creepy. I think he quit chess though. g5. Yeah, g5 looks radical. So g4. Radical meets radical. What about en passant? What's going on here? This f5 is a little weak, but h3 is like hanging. This is a crazy game. Baguio played way too fast. But g4 looks unnecessary. Can't you just play this? Apparently it's not good. Knight takes f5. He takes f5. You're still clearly worse. Yeah, I mean, you can't underestimate the power of that bishop on the long diagonal. There was nothing we could do. Like, once you had to play bishop takes f4, you're worse. You've been hanging out with Excel Poker again? Like, why would anyone prefer queen h1? Maybe because you wanted your king on g2? This is the diagonal of the day. Here. Yeah, it's ugly. Prepare for dust off. Okay, can we take on h5? I think at this point we're willing to gamble. Maybe take on h5, just try to get our knight to g4. Maybe we can make something happen. It looks bad though. You know, we're losing pawnage all over the place. But it still looks a little bit messy. You know, you have some chances. I think you have some chances in the opposite color situation here. But you've got to play very dynamically. You know, I think taking on h5 would dynamize the position. You lost your b2 pawn. You gotta take on h5. I mean, why not take here? I guess he has like b5. White resigns. No squares. No, I mean, you had to take on h5 at some point, man. You're being too dogmatic about the pawn structure. If you take here, I think you have practical chances. The computer has it down around the pawn. Seriously. The number one thing when it's opposite-colored bishops is the dynamism. You know, pawn structure, material, all that shit kind of goes out the window when you have opposite-colored bishops. You know, forget about your pawn structure. It's opposite-colored bishops. It's all about dynamics and playing for the initiative. I gotta go, guys. Thank you for watching. It's super late. Mr. Mom has to leave. We will hopefully be back tomorrow morning with Rapid Chess. Thanks, Mr. Coffee. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the stream and joining us. We will promise to be back with you. I'm going to do a quick raid here with GM Tranquilizer to get him back for all the times he raids me. The Equalizer. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you, Mr. Coffee, for your support, sir. Goodbye.